and welcome to another interesting episode of Feminine Scope, where we discuss issues affecting women, celebrating their triumphs that covers different spheres of life and seeking ways to solve their challenges. I am Amanda Ezekwe. One of the essential components of a prosperous and fulfilling life is a sense of purpose that allows us to find our passions, chase important goals, and in the course of time, live lives of convincing happiness. Most of us go about our lives without readily thinking about what purpose we're trying to accomplish or fulfill. However, there are steps we can take to develop a more deliberate acquaintance of our goals. Purpose is about intentionally having goals that help build the framework for your plans and fulfillment in life. This could be large or small goals. To discuss this with me in the studio is a woman who counsels young ladies to believe they are made for more. You'll get to meet her after the break. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Feminine Scope, and today we'll be discussing fulfilling purpose as a woman. With me in the studio is a woman who, growing up and being the first child of her parents, realized that as an assistant mom, she didn't have a life of her own. She was not living the life she desired, but living for others. Growing into adulthood, she realized that most young women kept their real selves and passion locked up. This led her to start a gathering of young wives where she lets them know that they cannot stop pursuing their dreams because they are women or have become wives or mothers. With me today in the studio is Mrs. Chidinma Ogunlade. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Nice to have you here.
Same here.
Today we're discussing about fulfilling purpose with women.
Yeah.
What is purpose?
Okay, purpose. You know, purpose means why are you there? Why are you in this life? What do you want to achieve? What are the things you have? What impact do you want to make? Why are the questions that answers your purpose? Why? Why are you here? Why are you a woman? It's not by accident you're a woman. Why are you a woman? So you should already know the why. You're a woman. Why are you born into this house? Why? All the whys is when you are able to answer your why, you know your purpose.
Okay, now we're talking about purpose. How can we fulfill purpose? Because sometimes people don't even discover their purpose on time. But when they discover it, how can it be fulfilled?
You know, the thing about the why is you first start with what's your passion, something you're passionate about. You find that there are some innate passions which you try to suppress or ignore or just tell yourself, okay, it's in my fantasy, due to the fact that maybe you're looking at the physical circumstances you find yourself. Oh, I'm a woman, I have to do this, I have to do that. So you find you're caged. You don't even know how to go about it. So that's really one of the things that...
Okay, now I see you have this passion about fulfilling purpose and all that. And in your bio, you mentioned about being the first child. How did this all start for you?
Okay, being the first child, you find that all the chores are landed on your laps. So you never get to like, okay, I'm going out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pursue this dream. I'm going to do this. You have to finish the house chores. And then from there, you find you're graduated to university. Before you know it, you're off to a husband's house. And those little things you desire, okay, I want to do baking. Like me, I'm very passionate about baking. I want to bake. My parents started encouraging me, but I found that a lot of people, that aspect of them that is outside the school scope, they are not pushed, they are not encouraged. And they just keep living the lives of others. Okay, like take for example, I loved being a banker.
Really?
Oh, yes. I admired all through my growing age. I was like, what do you want to read? I want to be a banker and I want to cook. And my dad was like, it's what your junior WAEC tells you, you will go. So when my junior WAEC came out and they were like, this is a science student. I'm very good in repairing things. But because that was what was in my heart, I went for banking. Even though I've never worked in a bank. But I fulfilled what my heart really wanted. I want to be a banker. Because I just love the way they dress and everything. That's from when I was a kid. But that was not really what I ended up doing, but it was something in me that I fulfilled. Yes, I want to be a banker. I want to look like them. Yes, that look.
So their dressing was what even
that was just the
attracted
push. That was just the push, as in, I just love how smart they look. You see them coming out of their cars and you're like, wow, this is it. I didn't go to knowing. My parents let me, go ahead, read it, but we know you're supposed to do science from what we've seen you do. So you can see where conflicts of purpose starts coming up. Okay, I'm torn between, I really want to be a banker, but daddy and mommy says I should actually read science. And people feel, you're better off doing this. You're now torn between so many points. You don't even know which one to settle for.
You see, that's where we have the challenge this day and age, because parents push their children to, study what they want them to study.
Very true.
Like, of course, growing up then, it was just probably
medicine or others. Medicine and others. I had that problem.
Medicine and others. You couldn't even say, oh, you wanted to go and study music in the university.
How can you?
That was very, very impossible. But now, don't you think parents are encouraging their children more now? Or would you say that the young ones are now going ahead to do what they want?
The truth about it is, I call it the generation of Sorosuke. That's what we really have now. What they want, they go for it. Daddy, mommy, this is what I want. It's no more a case of what do I do. They are made up with their mind, in their minds, what they want to achieve. So they only paint a picture for you. You try and fall in line. And a lot of conflicts, because like my mom, always say, don't forget that in the modern, the ancient still exists. Mm-hmm. So you are still trying to, in our time, this is how it was done. You don't come and dump what you want to do on me. And you're telling, the child is telling you, but this is what I'm passionate about. That's why you begin to hear, like my son was telling me the other day, mommy, do you know there's something called marine photographer? And I'm like, are you kidding me? He said, it looks interesting. I said, I'm trying to
fathom. Tell me you're going there.
He's like, mommy, but have you ever sat down to think of the fact that you are an underwater photographer, you'll be snapping all those creatures, and, you could see him talking about it so passionately, and I'm like, this is something I need to start talking to myself. Let me hear him out so that I don't shut his own
dreams down.
Yes. So that's the difference with then and now. Now we get to listen to them express themselves. Then you don't have a platform to express yourself.
Parents now, what they do is guiding those kids into what they want them to do. I was talking to a young man recently, and he said he's a lawyer. He studied law, but he cooks. So I asked him, I said, what is the business between law and food? He laughs. He said, my parents wanted me to study law. I finished, I gave them their certificates.
I'm used to hearing
that. And now I'm cooking. And he's doing very well.
Of course.
When he said he had a platform where he sat down with his father and they talked about it, which was never what would have happened way back.
Then
they had a discussion, and he told his dad, this is what I want to do. The father said, you cannot go in without having something that is professional. So why don't you do this first before you go for this? So they came to an agreement. And after that, everybody is happy. But there are some kids who, even after they've done all that, their parents are not still impressed. Is it that they don't help them fulfill that passion they want?
Like I have talked to quite some parents on this matter to air their views. I work with children a lot because I have a passion for them. Even in the church, I head the children's unit. And you find that some parents will just, it's in their subconscious. So after spending money for you to go to school, when it's time to collect returns, you now tell me you're going to do something else. So you find that they are looking at it from the part that in their time, this didn't used to yield as much resources that would take care of them and the kid with his future pursuits. So they are like feeling they are guiding them from poverty trap. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the child is seeing prospects.
So he's not feeling fulfilled.
So he's just doing what daddy bids. Daddy, I'm doing this for daddy. Daddy wants me to read medicine. Daddy wants me to do this. Daddy wants me to do that. And we forget that this jet age we find ourselves. These children have gone online. They've researched more than you can imagine. And they are equipped with the knowledge of what they really want to do. So I think we need to begin to hear them out.
Definitely. Let's be specific about the girl child. That is where we have issues from cultural to religious and, all that, which is affecting them. The girl child is giving so much, especially responsibility. You are the first child,
Yeah.
so you understand what it means being a girl child. Now, what they expect you to do once you're done with school, the first thing they're talking about husband, house. Second thing, they're, children. But nobody is asking her, what do you want? So from the cradle, how can this be managed?
From the cradle, I encourage parents, especially mothers, be sensitive. Get close to your kids, be their friends, so that they are free to express themselves to you. Like my daughter will come to me and I have just one, and she'll be like, Mommy, can I just go and sit out? Just want to go out, just take a drive. Initially, I'm like, no, this is... I now realize, no, I can't keep muscling these girls. So one day I was so tired. I said, Mommy, I need a drive. I just want to drive out. I was like, but you say I've been walking all day. She said, I know, but I just want to drive out. So I said, okay, hop into the car, let's go. We didn't even drive out for 10 minutes, and she was like, I think we can go home now. I feel better. So when we got home, I now told her, I said, you see, I allowed you to express yourself. But you saw why I don't normally go on this drive. But if I kept insisting, no, because by the time we drove out, of course, Abuja evenings and the hold-ups, bottlenecks and everything. So she saw why, Mommy doesn't like driving out in the evening. Oh, this is not interesting. This is not what I budgeted for. So when you get to listen to them and let them experiment that thing they feel, that grass they feel is greener, and they now get to see, oh, okay, is this why she's saying this? Okay, let's go back. Now, Mommy, I like we've been on the battle. Oh, Mommy, from my assessment, they said I'm supposed to read medicine, but I can't stand blood. I just love seeing cranes when they are walking. And I'm looking at the fragile person and saying, this one, crane, construction site. My head is already going
wrong.
And I'm like, well, if that's what you want. I try to take her around where there are construction sites. And I just see the excitement in her. Seeing the cranes moving, seeing their helmets, and she's so excited. So I'm like, okay, I got someone in that field. Can you talk with her? After talking with her, she was like, I think I'm going for this. So we should get close to them, get to know what they are passionate about, things that excite them. Like I went for a women's conference one time, and they said, try to help your children get to know what they know. They said the age we find ourselves, you can't keep telling your child, I don't know. They will shut you out of their world and carry out what they want to do. So getting to relate with them, be friendly with them, they will be able to open up their minds to you. And from there, you shop. No, you go back and do your own homework, so you're able to properly guide them in that thing they've decided to do. It's like my boy coming saying, Mommy, I want to be a chef, but I know you and Daddy will not agree. I said, who told you? If that's where your heart goes from, one is the alert must be coming. And he was like, hi, Mommy, you are a rare woman. No. The other mothers will say, no, go for medicine, go for... I said, no, Bobo, not in this age and time. I want you to go where you feel fulfilled that, yes, you did what made you happy. So that you will not say, it's Mommy that said I should do this. So the girl child is really having a lot. And then I try to guide them as much as nature has made it that the home front is your first assignment. Always create time for you. I tell them it's time for self-love. Create time for you. What makes you happy? My daughter loves drawing. So when you see her shut us out, you find her on her bed with her sketch pads and she's drawing, sketching things. She said, this is my me time, and everybody respects that. She has so many sketch pads she's been doing.
But some parents don't understand boundaries when it comes to kids who are working towards fulfilling their purpose. How can you talk to parents about this?
You can only control a child when he's below 13. I call it the dictator state. Once that child passes 13, you're only a counselor. Don't dictate to them. You keep dictating to them, they shut you out of their world. If you approach them like, why don't you? Okay, they want to discuss. Okay, let's talk. I'm talking because you find that we are raising a lot of rebellious children.
And this would derail them from their purpose.
We are raising a lot of rebellious children because we have more of dictators. I'm an African man, I'm an African woman. Who is this child to tell me what to do? But times have changed. If you're an African man, seize the laptop you've given that child, seize the gadgets you've given that child. These children are online, they are seeing all these things. So we have, as parents, have to find a way to balance this out and still not forget that we still have a culture to protect, where respect is important.
That brings me to culture. Does culture affect the girl child when it comes to fulfilling purpose? Because it's a major one. How?
It does. Because, take for example, a girl wants to be a mechanic. Let me use a northern girl of the ancient time. And the first thing the parents are looking at, how can she not be going under cars? How would they look at her? Sorry, I was speaking Hausa. Was it Aureta? Who will marry her? Do you understand? Another one. You have a passion. Take, for example, you're a petrochemical engineer. There's no job in the north. You want to go to the south. That's where the jobs are. How can you go and live on your own? It cannot be said that a girl not married is staying on her own. No, it's not allowed. You have to be at home and marry from... They end up throwing her into a classroom. Or even derail her completely and put her in a different course because of availability. That's cultural. A single girl cannot stay on her own. She's exposed to this and that. It
used to happen in the East too.
All over. I'm just using the north because I stayed more in the north.
Okay, you grew up in the north.
I grew up in the north.
Okay.
In the east, the same thing. How can you go all the way to the north? No, it's not allowed. And then that child is now forced to look only within because of cultural barriers. And that thing has really caged a lot of... I know of a lady, I counseled her. She called me in January, and she was really so depressed. She's been married for almost 20-something years. And she told me, I'm relocating. I said to her, I'm going back to where I was before I got married. My heart has not left that place. We're not divorced, too. No. But I think I need to pursue my things that make me happy. I've been following what makes him happy. At this point, I want to die feeling fulfilled. And I was like, God, this is bad. She said, it's that bad. I'm not happy anymore. She has houses in where she is. But she said it's not giving her joy because she has not had the kind of things she wanted staying in where she really wanted to stay. No, I felt the pain in her voice because you don't have to wait till you're 50-something to discover that you've been living another person's life.
But that's the challenge women have, because once you get married, you're taking care of the husband, you're taking care of the children. And when these kids grow up and leave the house,
you're stranded.
You're stranded, you don't know what to do with yourself. So how can this be managed?
I have been so, I don't know how to put it, that don't sound so offensive, but I have been shouting on the as loud as I can. Women, please know what you want to do with yourself. Children are passing. It's a passing phase. They will come with the activities and everything, and before you realize it, they are all gone. And if you have not found your purpose, why you are here, what is it that you want to do that gives you joy? and also pay your bills. We have to add that, because you can't be pursuing passion, and then your bills are piling up. What is it that you want to do? Have you started doing training? If you say, okay, during the time you're bringing, having your babies, you go for, use it as also a time for training. You get my point? By the time these kids are all off to school, you are fully trained to go into what you want to do. I was in the training last year, and a woman, she's a medical doctor, she told us her passion is to make candles. And I was like, Ma, you're a grandma? She said, yes. So she has bought all her molds, everything. So she said, what she does is because I'm now a grandma. These kids are all gone. My husband doesn't need much attention. So you find you come back from work and I'm about to retire. What will I be doing with myself? So I decided to learn how to do my candles that I've always been passionate about. And I see her and I was like, this is really sweet. Because she said, it's not for the money, but just for the joy that I'm doing, creating what gives me joy. If you see the molds she already has, the kind of, even the jars. So all this while, she's been buying the jars down, buying the perfumes. If she hears there's any class on candle making, she has gone for that class. So you find that that woman knows what she's doing, and she's fulfilling it. And she's not letting her present situation, being a mother, being a grandma, being a doctor, deprive her of also pursuing that innate desire of her heart to make candles.
Most people who discover their purpose get stigmatized, especially in an area where what they are doing is not accepted, or what they're doing is looked down on. Let's take, for instance, a lady mechanic. We have very few of them in this country.
Very. And
people have not started accepting them in terms of, you say, man, he takes this.
They will still ask you, where's your guy? They will ask you, where's your guy? Where's your boss? As in,
you know, so things like that bring down some of these things, especially when it comes to fulfilling purpose. Because we're talking about the girl child, we want to see any avenue where they can be helped, even politically. You see a little girl, the way she talks, the way she acts, you know that this one will end up being an activist or even go into politics. But when it's time for her to express herself, she's turned down. Why would that be? How can she be helped?
I will suggest that in whatever you find yourself to do, strive to be the best. Strive to be the best at it. And when you are the best, you will have to face, there's nothing that does not have its challenges. But when you stand out in your endeavors or in your pursuits or in whatever you've set your hand to do, you find that they will come for you. These same people that will start stigmatizing you will be the same people to advertise you. But you have to stand out. Be different. Have some uniqueness about what you're doing. That will make, okay, you know, like I saw a boat driver and she was a lady. And, you know, people already have this notion, women, they won't be patient. So when I finished her drive and I told her, I said, you're really patient. This will take you far. She said, Ma, I'm even thinking of things to do. I'm looking at a situation where when I pick my passengers, I'll have a cooler bag and I'll ask you if you want cold water or you want this. And I'm like, if you try this, you'll blow. That may not be easy. People may say, does she want to poison me? We're Africans, we're Nigerians. She has put juju inside this to make me. But no. By the time people who value class know you, you'll be at home. They'll just keep calling you. They will not wait for Bolt app. They will call you. Please, can you pick me up? I'm coming in so time. Please, can you pick me up? Why? You've stood out. You dare to do your own, but do it differently. So if we have that at the back of our minds, that, I'm into this thing. I know people are really going to talk, but I dare to be different. Let me find a way to stand out. That's why we are women. We add color to what we are doing.
Definitely.
Take, for example, the mechanic lady. If she decides that her workshop will be in such a way that you won't even know you're in a mechanic's workshop, I'm telling you, people will come to her. Because people will not mind on Saturdays, they are all dressed up from games or whatever, drive their cars in for servicing, and you have a sit out where maybe they can be watching their football, or maybe the men can be playing a game, a board game or something, while the cars are being fixed. I'm telling you, you will blow. So if you dare to do it differently, show that, yes, I'm a woman, people don't look down at me. People passing, you mean this is a mechanics workshop? They'll be expecting, no, they are good, though. You find that alone, women have a way of coloring. I was just looking at a lot of happy International Women's Day. And I said, how will this world be without women? Women are like God. If God was a woman, was a song that was trending. And I listened to it and I said, look at color. So if a woman decides to do her own mechanic workshop and then put in all these things, you find that people will go there. More people will queue. People will start booking ahead of time. I'm coming in on Saturday. Okay, you now start scheduling them for time. You're doing yours, but differently. So people will go in and out and not have issues that they went to a mechanics workshop. So I think if we really want to go into areas that have been stigmatized, let us do it in such a way that it will stand out.
On your road to fulfilling purpose, what were the challenges you faced personally?
Okay, I do baking, and they're like, they felt it was a lazy man's job, and a job for dropouts. Well, you went to school now. That was the first. Well, you went to school. Why will you baking? And I was like, have you seen how creative cakes can look? And I'm like, but and I was like, it depends on how you're looking at it. But now, people have come to respect the fact that, wow, go to Chichi for cakes. No, all my children's wedding cakes will come from Chichi. My baby's birthday cake, Chichi has to do it. So if you stand out in what you're doing and you're able to defend it and make it with style and class, and keep training yourself. I know it was not funny, but I enjoyed it, and it was really nice.
Now, policies. Let's come to policies when it comes to fulfilling purpose. There are some things or some policies that will be put in place that hinders purpose in terms of, let's take for example the political area. Women go into politics, but we have a lower number of them in politics. So when they decide to make policies that affect women, is it the men that will do this for us?
It has to be us. But the issue now is it's not going to be a rapid and it's going to take time to achieve. One, you're a woman, there's this notion you are under. So you start hearing she wants to boss her husband. So that alone cages the woman, as in you find her struggling to still keep her home front, to still look submissive, and then still be a boss, taking decisions and policies. So those aspects, when you even make your intention known, the first person they will attack is the husband. You mean you will leave your wife? So I should come and start dictating to you what to do. You know, they just make you feel it's a job for maybe people who have left their homes or those kind of things.
So we definitely have to, give shout out to men who give their wings, their wives wings to fly.
Honestly, I normally will appreciate them when I said, you're a noble man for allowing your wife to pursue what she wants. You're really noble. And they're like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, yes, because I can imagine how you shut your ears to side comments and stand by her to go ahead. So men that have accepted that their women should pursue what they want, especially in the aspect of politics, you find that they need to be applauded, because it's really in this our community and culture, it's really something. It's something to be thumped for.
But if a girl child decides to go into politics, what would you tell her parents? What advice would you give her parents? Because we know in the terrain where we come from, politics is seen as what word would I use for it? An aggressive kind of life. So what would you say?
The education system we have now, if you're very observant, have you noticed that when you want to be the head girl, you do campaign?
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, you do campaign, you make flyers, you find parents, they do manifesto. Yes, they do manifesto. So they're already cultivating politics in these children. You find, oh, mommy, I have to do my manifesto. I need to go to the studio. I need to print. And I'm like, for head girl poster, they're like, yes, mom, this is a good career. One has to. And I'm like, wow, this is nice. So you find them, I want to give my press briefing. And I'm like, you're going to be standing like head girl. They will still flog you like every other student. But, it's joyful seeing them already knowing what it entails, being able to confront their fears among their peers. Because these are the same people they will be contesting with in future. So I love encouraging that for them. You want to go into it. Go out, but be the best. Stand out.
But how can you break the barrier? Because, there's a lot going on for the girl child. There's a lot going on for the woman. There's a lot going on for the wife. Even grandmothers, there's a lot going on for them. Okay, take for instance, the girl child, like I said earlier, anytime she does something, is that how you do it when you go to your husband's house?
No man will come and marry you like this.
You understand what I'm saying? So you're putting it into their mind that they don't have any other life except when they get to their husband's house. They have things they want to do, but they're not being encouraged to do it. You are a counselor, you counsel kids, especially the girl child. How do you put this out to them? And how do you tell the parents that, look, you need to allow this girl breathe?
There are some girls that walked up to me and they're like, Auntie, we love singing, but our mommy feels it's a waste of time. Some said, well, Auntie, we like dancing. So I now said, okay, I had to ask myself for wisdom and ask God for wisdom. So I approached the parents and I'm like, can you cut your kids slack? They really want to do this. So I love what some parents did. Some enrolled their children in after school. Okay, if this really what you want to go for it. And they paid for extra classes, their weekends, but they gave conditions. You must finish your house chores. You must finish this. So now, indirectly, that parent has made the child know, yes, go ahead and fulfill your domestic duties first before you go for the other ones. So at that point, what I see is they are teaching the child to balance out expectations. This and this are part of what you're expected to do. But after doing it, still create time to fulfill your own drives. What you want to do. And I like all these clubs that are coming up. You have knitting club, you have all those baking classes, and these are outside school. Like if you look at the school curriculum now, it's really going beyond just
education.
Education, yes. So it's making the child really want to do other things. You have the ones that, okay, after school, the salon I normally used to make my hair. There was a young girl, when she closes school on Friday, she says, Auntie, I do all my homework because Saturdays and Sundays I come here, I want to learn how to make hair. And I was like, wow. And your parents are like, she said, my mom drops me. So you find that people are beginning to get enlightened. I know they are amidst confrontations, but if parents rise to silence their ears, block their ears to side comments and let this child go for what he or she wants, I think we will have we will have more people fulfilling their passions.
Discovering purpose. That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the challenges that faces, kids who have actually discovered their purpose before their parents. We've been discussing discovering purpose and fulfilling it. We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the challenges that these children face, especially the girl child. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Feminine Scope and we've been discussing about fulfilling purpose. I still have my guest in the studio, a counselor, Mrs. Chidinma Ogunlade. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you once again.
Before we went on a short break, we were discussing about fulfilling purpose, the barriers and all that. Now we want to talk about the challenges. What are the challenges, especially for a girl child who does not have the voice to speak for herself?
The challenges come in different forms. Some are posed by religion, some are posed by their culture, some are posed by family. Because you find some families, how can it be said that a daughter of Lagbaja is doing this, is doing that? And those things have really posed a challenge to the female child from fulfilling her desires. You find that some won't even let their daughters go and do nursing. They feel it's for... But you have BSc nursing. So you find that a lot of the religious aspect too is another thing. That one, I don't want to use the word hydra-headed, but it's really something that how can they say this person is doing this and that?
Just give us some examples.
I'm trying to get out some. Okay, take for example. You know, people look down on this dancing career.
Yeah.
People look down on music. There are some they will accept, some they won't even accept. The dancing one, of course, they are steppers, they are choreographers. I traveled out and I found people dancing, and I was like, oh my God, just coming and with flags and all those. And I said, you can't come and try this one in Nigeria. They say you're a lazy person. So you find that there are some things, and that there are some people who just admire it. Just see how they are weaving, see the way they are moving and everything. You find that if you see a female person repairing phones, you will more easily go to a man that is repairing phones than give to the lady. But you don't want to see that she will take more time to do the phone for you. So, you know, there are even our mindset too. Even we women ourselves, we are enemies to ourselves at times, because
when people say that, I maybe because of this my circle, you know, women supporting women.
Yes.
But there was a day a guest came here and I was telling him, he said no, that I should go and check properly. So now you're saying it. In what aspects?
Have you noticed when you're even driving or you're in the car going and then there's somewhere, the car in front of you drives somewhere and even you a woman, say, I'm sure that person is a woman. So we ourselves have put the barrier on ourselves that maybe is a woman driving like that. And you go, I said it. It's a woman. You didn't even check that you also you're a woman. Do you understand? So if we start supporting ourselves, we have a large network and we'll be able to do good. This child wants to do this. Encourage girl child to do what she wants. Start little clubs to educate them on what their desires are, or what their drive, what their purpose, what they want to fulfill. Start clubs for them. You will find that a lot of them they just feel it's in fairy tale. It's a fairy tale. It's not, it can't be real. I've just admired, but it can't be for me. Which makes me sad. It really makes me sad. So if we're able to overcome religious, cultural barriers set by ourselves, we'll help ourselves.
In terms of mentorship, do you think the woman has been doing enough for the girl child?
We've not. Because I spoke with some young girls, some teenagers one time, and they were saying, auntie, if only our mommy can be as patient as you are. Before you even start, she said, hey, keep quiet. What do you know? She doesn't want to see things the way we are seeing. So if we're able to be a little bit more patient with them, I think we'll mentor them better. We'll mentor them better. Because a lot of them are full of things in their head, but they are finding a place to express it. And they are not seeing it at home. So if we have such smaller groups of mentoring, to go a long way to make them bring out what they really have inside.
But don't you think that some of these children don't appreciate mentorship?
They do.
Some don't actually know boundaries when it is set. Don't you think so?
Such children, check their background, check their home. How do they operate at home? It could also be what is affecting them, what is offensive to you because of your own exposure may not be to them. Take, for example, I'm Igbo, my husband is Yoruba, and my children greet the normal way to prostrate. And then I remember one of the times somebody, don't you know you're Yorubas? You're supposed to kule, you're supposed to be dobale and everything. And my husband was like, no, you don't stop. You don't teach them that. That is a cake. I won't take that. He said they respectfully greeted you. No, they are Yorubas. He said no. So you find that if we're able to take out all those things and make them know, okay, you have to be respectful. You may, if you desire, good, but this is the basic requirements. That will help them. Not all of them are against mentoring. They want to be guided because they are seeing others. So they don't know. They are torn between, are we being too strict in this place? Is the grass greener out there? So just keep talking. Keep talking. That's the aspect of mentoring for little ones, the younger ones. I keep telling my husband, I said, and I tell other women, I said, every child you meet is like a blackboard. Keep writing. They will go out. They will play. That means they will meet other people. And it's like, it cleans off. See what my mommy said? Don't mind, my mommy is a cake. They will clean it off. Give them their own version. They come back. Whatever they have taken from outside, clean it back. Write it again. I said, you may need to say it 101 times for it to stick. But the issue is, how patient are we to go through that process? Is it every time you be saying the same thing? Is it every time we be repeating this thing? Keep repeating it. It's sticking. When you take them and leave them on their own, you find they begin to carry out those mentoring tips you were giving them, which while they were with you looked offensive and they were not enjoying. They start, it plays back. So they may not have shown you what you were teaching them then was registering. But when they are left alone, you find that they carry out things exactly as you. Because you kept
talking to them about it.
Keep talking. Remember, I gave the age this thing. At 13, You can't command them. You just keep suggesting. Because if not, they will rebel. When this person... You just see it's clear. I was in a training last weekend, and the tutor said, at 13, you stop dictating. You start counseling. At 21, you just listen and advise. Because your advising means whether they like it, they take it. Whether they like it, they don't take it. So at that early stage where you know you can still dictate and be saying it, keep repeating and repeating and repeating. Just keep saying it. It's sticking. It's sticking.
So what are your final words to parents who have children that are female, guiding them on how to fulfill purpose?
I will advise parents, as much as you're insisting on the domestic aspect of being a woman, which means all your chores and everything, what you expect her to know, please also take time to find out what's that other thing she loves to do that gives her joy. And encourage her to be able to dive into it and fulfill it. Because it's nothing as sad as seeing a woman in her late years feeling unfulfilled, as in wishing if I could turn back the hands of time, because she wasn't given the opportunity when she should have been given the opportunity. Regrets. You find them depressed. You find them, they are just sad. They are just shut down. They are quiet, staring. Not that they are lost, because they didn't find their path when they should have found it. Now when they should be living their life, they are just staying alive. They are no more living. They just stay alive. Okay, oh, it's morning. Oh, evening has come. Let us make hay while the sun... While
the sun shines.
While the sun shines, let's make hay. Let's help them identify what they love to do so that they feel happy. And then when at the end of life, you find them say, I died empty.
Exactly.
I died empty because I gave all I wanted to.
We sincerely appreciate you for coming to the show today and telling us about fulfilling purpose, especially in the life of women.
Thank you. You're most welcome.
Our guest has been Mrs. Chidinma Ogunlade, a woman who counsels young ladies to live a life of purpose they desire, believe in themselves, knowing they're made for more. Finally, if you want to live with purpose, you need to understand and explore what you value most. If you value teaching children, you can focus on that area. If you value creating beauty, you can express yourself through art. If you value helping others, find a way to make that happen. You need to push for what you desire in order to accomplish it. If you feel stuck in an unsatisfying job because you don't like taking risks, work on building up your confidence, irrespective of background, religion, race. Every woman has a purpose to fulfill, thereby affecting lives. You deserve to experience and fulfill purpose. Having to do this is one of the most satisfying things that could ever happen to you. That's the much we can take on the program today. Until next week. Bye-bye.